This is a match between CJ Entus and eSTRO. Both these teams are 1-1 on the season, with eSTRO coming off a big win last week versus SK Telecom. No Sky High in the lineup for CJ this match, likely due to the fact that he's playing in both the OSL and MSL later in the week. However, CJ's young Zerg Effort is in the lineup, and he's 2-0 this year, and will be looking to lead CJ to victory. Game 1 of this matchup is a ZVZ being played on Outsider. Hydra for CJ is the orange player in the top right, whereas eSTRO's Hyva is the purple player in the mid left. This is Hydra's first game of the Pro League, whereas Hyva is 1-1 so far this year and hasn't looked too bad. He's the top Zerg player on eSTRO. Now a little bit of divergence in the builds. 9 pool into gas for Hydra, whereas a more economical build, a 12 pool, taking his gas as well and then putting down an expansion at his natural. But this expansion comes under attack early. The 9 pool lings get there. Hyva is forced to bring some drones off the line to try and drive this back. Reinforcements coming in for both players, but a few little skirmishes, but no casualties on either side. So, Spire going down much earlier for Hydra, but Hyva has the second hatchery and more larvae, and he's trying to push up this ramp. He's been pumping lings and tries to make a push up here. But with a very nice arc around the top of that ramp, Hydra easily fights this off, ends up with more lings at the end. His first muties pop, drives away these lings that were posting out at the bottom, and then he goes up and takes his natural as well. Now, Hydra's turn to counterattack here, trying to get up the ramp, trying to get in here to the main base and do some damage. But Spore Colony's up, still no Spire, and Hyva's able to fight this off. Spire finally going down for Hyva, and a little bit of a trickery here from Hyva. He lures away Hydra's muties from his natural and then counterattacks from another direction. But with more lings coming in from Hydra and the muted force coming back, he's easily able to mop this up. Another aggressive attack from Hyva. He has mutas now as well, but Hydra's been making mutas for much longer in this game. He had a Spire up much earlier. Now, smart move here from Hydra rather. He takes the mid-right expansion, the double gas, and that gives him a big boost in this game because it doesn't get scouted for quite some time. Finally gets scouted by Hyva. He knows he's down. He knows he has to push in here. Little Scourge trap there, trying to take these mutas down, but Hydra had way too many muties and is easily able to take this game. So, Hydra takes the first game, and CJ is up 1-0 in the match.
Game 2 is Iris versus UpMaGiC on Moon Glaive. Iris is red at the 4 o'clock position. UpMaGiC is teal at 12 o'clock. Iris goes for a factory into expansion. UpMaGiC goes for a factory into starport. That first Wraith out comes down to Iris's base. It harasses quite quickly, kills a couple Marines, it kills a few SCVs. But of course UpMaGiC knows he needs to attack quickly. He doesn't have his expansion yet. So he brings those first few tanks and Marines down. It looks pretty even at first, but UpMaGiC has SCVs in behind for support, and his 2 Wraiths have pulled off a few Goliaths of Iris. He brings those Wraiths up, finishes off those 2 tanks, and wins quite decisively. UpMaGiC starts to push into Iris's base where those Goliaths are. A whole lot of SCVs go down, those Goliaths go down. UpMaGiC expands. Iris is forced to take his command center down to 5 o'clock. Those Wraiths keep harassing it. First dropship out, brings some Goliaths down for support. The dropship gets killed. The Wraiths cloak, so the Goliaths don't get anything. The Wraith comes back up to the base, kills the next dropship out. Iris is totally hemmed in. He GG's. It is 1-1 in the series.
On to Game 3. This game's played on Heartbreak Ridge. CJ Entus is sending out Effort, their star, to take the reins, whereas eSTRO is putting out SangHo, a Protoss player, to take the field for them. Overpool build here for Effort. Hoping for some early pressure against the fast expand. Nice little pylon gets put down there by SangHo to block those Zerglings, but he cancels it, and in come the Zerglings once again. 2 Zerglings manage to squeeze through there, try to do some damage, but nice probe work to get away and save all his probes by SangHo. Now, macroing up here in the game. 5 hatches for Effort, Stargate going down with the Templar Archives, and a Robo Bay for SangHo. And some DTs pop here, and he's going to take these right on over into Effort's base. Uses the Corsairs to clear out any Overlords in here, and forces these drones, gets a couple drone kills, and goes right after the Spire and ends up taking it right down. Now, a little counterattack at the same time. Hydra's coming in, able to snipe this gateway and take it right out. Both players content to macro up for the moment. 8 gateways for SangHo and a large army. 4th base taken in the top middle for Effort, and he takes this high ground with his lurkers, but SangHo's trying to push in and pressure him. He's got fully charged High Templar since he sniped that Spire. And he's able to push back the Hydras, but the Hydras come right back and force this attack back. Now, another long lull in this game. Third base going up for SangHo, and he's trying to pressure in here on the natural now, attacking once again. But this turns out to just be a feint. He retreats his army and goes across the map. Since Effort has retreated his troops from the high ground, he's able to take this high ground with ease now. And now he has the high ground, forces back the Hydras with Storm, and pushes in on the fourth base. In the meantime, Effort's pushing in on SangHo's third, trying to take it down. But SangHo gets right in here, takes out the fourth base, and crucially doesn't lose his own third base, but he does lose his army in the process. Now, fast forward. Effort's taken the top left base, and SangHo comes here to try and rout these drones. The drones are forced to run, but SangHo's trying to take down this hatchery, but just doesn't get it. Simultaneously, Effort is pushing in on SangHo's natural, basically moving right in there and taking out a couple cannons, manages to snipe a few Templar with his reinforcements, pretty lucky, and ends up taking down a third Templar right here. SangHo counterattacking here into Effort's natural. A lot of Lings there though, and a lot of well-spaced lurkers. Some storms go down, but crucially he doesn't have enough storms after those 3 Templar snipes. And the same time, Effort is pushing in again at SangHo's natural. In come the Lings, and a goon-only army quickly gets taken down from these Lings. More Lings streaming into the natural, and they quickly also mop up the rest of that force. And Effort moving into the third again, and with no army to speak of, and more troops flooding towards SangHo's base, he's forced to GG. So, Effort comes through and takes CJ up 2 games to 1 against eSTRO.
Game 4 is Movie versus Really. This is a must-win for Really. Movie is Protoss at the 5 o'clock position. Really is the Red Terran at the 2 o'clock position. Movie goes for a 12 Nexus build. Really for a 2 factory rush. Neither players get their scouts in. This is good news for Really. He waits for that 5th tank and comes down with an SCV and a few Marines, both machine shops upgrading the Vulture mines and speed. He gets down to Movie's base. Just as those upgrades come in, starts picking away at the pylons. Eventually Movie brings out his probes and some goons. There's a little bit of micro work here. The probes go after the tanks, but Really wins this battle, taking out a lot of Movie's probes. Even gets some Vultures in. Movie is forced to counterattack. He brings up a shuttle and a few goons up to Really's natural. The SCVs come down and they defend that fairly well. Really moves on to his third command center. Then there's some patient play here by Really. He comes down to Movie's third nexus and he waits for the probes to come down. He comsats. Once the probes are there, he brings the dropship in and he manages to take out all of them. He's also pushing into Movie's natural. Movie is completely outnumbered here. He has little more than his 2 arbiters. That nexus is taken out as well. Really has his third up and running. Movie GG's. We are on to Game 5.
On to the ace match. Hydra getting the call for eSTRO, likely due to the fact that he's already played 1 ZVZ in the match, and eSTRO is surely expecting CJ to send out Effort, their best player. But it's none other than Savior himself who steps up for CJ. Savior, certainly not known for a ZVZ as of late, did manage to pick up a win last week versus Hogel, another Zerg player. You have to think that CJ was expecting eSTRO to send out a Terran player, either UpMaGiC or Really. But ZVZ it is. So, Hydra spawns orange at the 1 o'clock position. He goes for a gas first build, while Savior spawns white at the 7 o'clock position. Goes for a 12 pool, puts down his gas, and then takes a second expansion at his natural. Savior trying to make a move here early on. He's got extra Lings from that second hatchery, but it's pretty easy to defend at the top of this ramp, and Hydra easily turns him back. Now Hydra spires up quite a bit earlier, and Savior's forced to put down spore colonies. And here comes the first mutas from Hydra. He easily picks off a couple drones here on a harass, because there's only 1 spore colony in the main. He actually picks off the second spore colony as it's spawning, and actually catches a few drones on a transfer here, unlucky for Savior. Then powers right in, takes down the spore colony, and the second spore colony spawns just in time to force him back. Still more harass here, ends up picking off this extractor from Savior, and then coming in and picking off more drones in the natural now. Savior finally with the Spire up actually comes up and picks off a few drones from Hydra, but it's just too little too late. Hydra's amassed a pretty big force and is actually powered through the main base, actually takes out that layer and the spawning pool, then comes down and just blasts through these spore colonies down in the natural. At the same time actually, Savior's trying to battle it out at Hydra's own natural, and Hydra has a second force there that easily wipes out Savior's attacking Mutaforce. Savior not looking real hot this game. He goes down, he GG's, Hydra wins. eSTRO is 2-1 on the season, and CJ is 1-2.